Ho, ho, ho. We are back. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all. It turns out the Mariners had the highest bid for Carlos Santana, and yet he still chose to go back to the Guardians. Joe and I are going to discuss that a little bit and what that means for the future of this team before we discuss our naughty and nice list for the Mariners roster in 2024. And then we'll talk about what present we want to see under the tree this morning on Christmas Day for the 2025 season. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 151 of the Hit It Here podcast, part of the Bleav network.
The Santa Claus episode? The
Kris Kringle episode.
The Kris Kringle episode, the Frosty the Snowman episode. Really whatever you want, you know? It can be whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for saving the intro there. It's like you know, Santa saves Christmas.
Exactly.
Joe, I am here with my friend Joe on Christmas Eve, technically Christmas Day for when we're putting this out. And Joe, Merry Christmas to you. How we feeling today?
I'm feeling, as it stands right now, pretty like jolly Eve. And tomorrow will be, you know, full of jolly. You're not gonna get that through your beard. Good luck. I will say, I think I swooped in. Like I was kind of like Rudolph in that intro. I was the guiding light to help finish it out a little bit there. It felt good participating in an intro that's like a me intro, not a not Colton intro. So that felt really good. You know what doesn't feel good? Transitions go crazy. The Mariners had the best offer, air quotes, the best offer for Carlos Santana, free agent first baseman, age 39, coming off a Gold Glove, a great year. Great past couple of years, aging like fine wine. Mariners had a 2-year offer on the table. One with I believe, a player option in the second year. And they still lose out on Carlos Santana going back to the Guardians, obviously on the heels of the Josh Naylor trade. It's hard to deny going home. I get that, right? From Carlos Santana's perspective, I understand. Does it sting for the Mariners? Yes, and then publicly now it's known that they were very much so in on him as like their number one offseason target to be an everyday fixture in their lineup, more than likely, to be a clubhouse veteran presence, and to sign him to a pretty, almost a crazy deal. I mean, it's only 2 years, like one with a player option, but still giving that contract to a 39-year-old first baseman, that to me is the more like glaring, like, whoa, they were going to do, like they were willing to do that with their limited, you know, payroll budget that they've talked about, or, you know, Adam Jude, Ryan Divish, everyone has basically kind of alluded to the entire offseason. They were willing to basically put it all in Santana. And then also, I don't want to say like handcuff them in 2020, like in the following year, in like 2025, 2026. But still, it was a crazy kind of like what, 12, 24 hours just figuring out what Santana was getting. And the fact that the Mariners offered him that much, like, that's just surprising to me, given I think where the roster actually has larger holes at second and third than at first base.
Mm-hmm. I think that as Mariners fans, we're kind of used to it, right? You know, always being the second choice, never being the first choice. And what it means for this team moving forward, because obviously Santana was kind of their big fish right now. He was the guy they were after. They offered him a 2-year, basically a 2-year guaranteed deal. Now I think we haven't heard like official money on what that deal would have been. I would assume it would have been like a $10 million deal with like a $10 million player option. So 20 million overall. Maybe it would have been a little bit less than in terms of AAV than what Santana got with the Guardians. But with that extra year, he's still making more money. Now the Mariners have to pivot. And at the start of the offseason, they had been having contract negotiations with Justin Turner, but those kind of died off as they decided they wanted to go more the route towards Carlos Santana. And apparently Julio played a big role in trying to recruit Santana to come back. And, you know, obviously him and Santana are really good friends. So it seemed like a really good pitch until that Josh Naylor thing happened. And Santana all of a sudden got hit with this offer and he just went with his gut. He just said, yeah, I want to go home. Because, I mean, again, he's 39. He's getting towards the tail end of his career. Where it all happened for him was in Cleveland. And so he wanted to return home. So now for the Mariners, they have to basically pivot back to Justin Turner. The hard part about it all is that this didn't happen early. This
Yeah.
happened late in the offseason when a lot of the first basemen were already off the board. So now the Mariners are like, oh, well, this was the one guy we were like really going after for first base. He's gone now, and now we're left without a whole lot of options. I think one of two things happen. They pivot to Justin Turner, try to get him, or just find another first baseman somewhere, Lamont Wade Jr., whatever. Or they say, okay, we're going to go look for upgrades at other positions. We feel okay about Luke Raley and Tyler Locklear at first base, and they focus more so on those other positions. That's what I think will, honestly, in my opinion, because I think that Turner would have already signed if it was something that he was strongly considering.
Yeah, and
Now
like
with
the Mariners had like an offer on the table that made
right.
sense for him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now I mean, Santana getting 12 and a half is crazy, in my opinion. So, I mean, Turner's going to cost at least 10, and I think maybe like 9 or something like that, but it's going to be
Unless
up
they
there.
do like big incentives, like I could see that
Right.
as how they make it a bit cheaper on the beginning, and then obviously they're looking to pay more later into the year. As I think the way that the budget or just the payroll typically kind of looks is they have this benchmark that they go into the season with, and then as the season goes on, whether or not they're in a competitive spot or not, that budget increases by a little bit because of the trade deadline. And if they kind of value it that same way, maybe they can get Turner on a 1 year, $8 million with incentives for it to reach and 10, maybe even 11. If they want to shoot for a little bit higher there to guarantee him that like, hey, we think you'll play a pivotal role here. We'll give you enough playing time to do so. Like, go earn that extra money, kind of a thing that you deem yourself worth. Like, maybe that's the avenue that they try and like swing there. And if there's mutual interest in him returning and he wants to be part of the veteran leadership committee again, part of the fill that quota, check that box. I mean, fit right in last year. And now we go. There's literally like I heard him in a post game, like when they're celebrating, doing their little high five walk. I heard him say, "Now we go," after a pretty pivotal win. Like you can tell that the fire's still there, and I'm sure that with this group, I mean, obviously a lot of them are returning. He'd be happy to help kind of like lead that pack again from that veteran standpoint.
And it sounds like he enjoyed his time here, which isn't necessarily something that's common. He's a guy. He's a guy that might be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he wouldn't be first ballot or anything, but I think he has an opportunity. He will be on the ballot at some point. And I think that there's something valuable about adding somebody like Justin Turner to your roster, because we saw what the team was like when it didn't have that veteran presence. So while I do think they need to go out there and sign Justin Turner, I think that at this point it's like, just get it done, whatever it takes, because I'm tired of waiting. Like, do it and then focus elsewhere, because you're running out of time and you're not going to have enough time to fill all these positions as fast as you're going to have to fill them with the limited amount of resources you have and the limited amount of players left. So I don't know. It was definitely rough to watch Santana go back and sign with the Guardians and the Mariners basically get screwed out of it. But alas, here we are. Let's switch gears now, Joe, to our naughty and nice list for the Seattle Mariners in 2024. I think there are some obvious ones, right?
Yeah.
Mitch Garver, naughty.
Naughty list, yeah.
Naughty list, yeah. Sorry, buddy. We had high expectations for you. But by the way, we're recording this on the 1 year anniversary of when he was signed by the Mariners. And
nothing like getting put on the naughty list on your 1 year anniversary.
That's right. That's right. I tweeted this earlier today. I said, how hard would a Mitch Garver caliber signing go right now? Because when the Mariners signed him, he was coming off of a great year. Yeah. And winning the World Series. Like, it looked like a really good signing by the Mariners. How hard would one of those go right now, only for 8 months for us to be depressed about it? You know what I mean? But it would go hard nonetheless right now, here as we sit here on Christmas Eve. Naughty list for him. Jorge Polanco, naughty list. I think those two are just...
I think we should like stay away from the guys that won't be on the team in 2025. Yeah. Like, I think people that are like more so like players, personnel that are carrying over. I guess there's a chance Polanco comes back. Same thing, I guess, with Rojas, maybe even Ty France. Like, who knows? Who really knows at this point? I don't even know if the front office knows. I will say, top of the list, I'm surprised you didn't say his name first, John Santaton. John Stanton, the entire ownership group is on the naughty list.
They're on their own list.
Yeah, like whoa, maybe.
What I mean by that, for everyone watching, is I mean they're on the do not talk to list. Like no,
They
not
are like
naughty, not nice. They are
there's
just
a naughty, nice, and then like the super naughty list, like the
the
really
super
bad.
naughty list. Yeah.
Yeah, any Mariners ownership people, they're definitely on a do not interact kind of that kind of basis. Would you put Jerry and Justin on the naughty list?
Yes, I would.
I
I
would
think.
agree. I don't
I
think
think.
they've done enough good grace to have warranted to be on the nice list. And there's no, middle ground. There's no like
hmm There's no
there's no
like list.
there's no purgatory here. It's you're
hmm
naughty or nice. You're not like, yeah, he was all right. No, naughty or nice.
hmm
Like
And that's
definite
why.
nice is like Cal Raleigh.
Yeah,
100%. Platinum
great
Glove
one.
Award winner, best catcher in baseball. That's about as nice as you can get.
That's true. Yeah, I think that Jerry and Justin, when it comes to them, they haven't been good at evaluating talent, and maybe that changed a little bit in 2024 when they went out and got Victor. But like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Hopefully that did change for the better. But I mean, until we see it proven by them adding players, which hasn't happened, ho 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 or whatever, then yeah, I don't know. They have to be on the naughty list. Let's kind of go around the diamond here, Joe. First base, Luke Raley,
Nice.
nice list. Yeah,
Nice list.
I think he did exactly what you needed him to do in 2024. Yeah.
I think he did more than I think he exceeded expectations slightly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, yeah. What about Tyler Locklear?
I don't know if he did enough to be on a list.
You got to be on a list. Every boy and girl gets to be put on a list.
I think he's on the nice list.
I agree with that.
I don't think he did enough wrong, but I don't think he did enough in general. Kind of a thing. Like I would probably put Ryan Bliss also on the nice list, just to like I don't think he did enough wrong, but like going around like Polanco, naughty list.
JP Crawford,
naughty list. Sorry,
Yeah.
bud. I get that you just had a kid, naughty list.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Didn't do enough.
You played okay defensively, but you were not good offensively. It was a problem, and it was a major problem for this team. What about Dylan Moore?
I mean, that's a Gold Glove Award winner. That's on the nice list. I'm sorry. He's on the nice list, bro. He was your fourth most valuable position player in 2024.
Because of his defense, you know what I mean?
That's just not true. He had a 105 WRC plus. I'm looking at his Fangraphs page right now. A 6.8 offensive value, a 1.6 defensive value for a 2.4 F4 in 2024.
You heard it here first, friends of the Hit It Here podcast. Dylan Moore is a better player offensively than Ichiro Suzuki.
In his career
WRC plus was 104. Is
that true? Is that true, chat?
It is true. I just made a whole video about it. Yep.
I'm seeing 107 on Baseball Reference.
Yeah, but I said F4.
I'm checking.
All right.
I'm checking WRC plus. Don't you worry your pretty little heart. 104. Crazy.
Dylan Moore in 2024 was a better player than Ichiro was for his entire career. Round of applause. Dylan Moore's on the nice list. WRC plus.
We have got the most arbitrary stat line perspective going on right now.
That's right. I am making this fit my own narrative. All right. How about Randy? Where are we at with Randy? I think he's on the nice list.
I'm sorry. We just skipping my guy. Josh Rojas?
You're right. Sorry, he's not on the team anymore.
I know, but
France,
sure.
Who was my guy?
I guess that's fair. We can skip our guys because they're both on the naughty list. Randy, I think nice list. I think there were some moments that could have earned him on the naughty list.
Yeah, he made up for it, though.
Where he wasn't. He seemed like he was kind of dogging some fly balls, but I think for the sake of keeping him in our good graces for 2025, he's on the nice list.
Let's move over to right field really quick with Victor Robles. Nice list.
Super
obviously.
Nice. Might be second on the list of nice list in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, with how good he was. I mean, I really do hope that he can carry it over into 2025. I don't think he will, but I really hope he can. Okay.
Naughty. Okay. I thought you were going to say Mitch Haniger. Naughty.
Mitch Haniger. Naughty. Yeah. He was terrible. Worst
Dom Canzone?
Naughty.
Just, didn't do enough.
I think that I had really high hopes for Dom Canzone in 2024, and frankly, he sucked.
Yeah. What about Leo Rivas before we get to that big position player?
I'd say I put Leo Rivas on the nice list.
Yeah. Did his job.
He did what he needed to do. Yeah.
Okay. Respect.
So, Julio Rodriguez, Joe.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the most polarizing one.
Yeah.
How about we say it on three?
Sure.
Three on go. On go.
Okay.
On go. Okay,
All
so
right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Naughty.
Nice. I'm saying nice.
Okay, explain your position.
It's still like, even though it's like a quote unquote down year, it was still a really solid year. I mean, he's your second most valuable player by F4 for a full season, 143 games. Sure, the power output wasn't there, but a 116 WRC plus, that's the second highest of the qualified batters, but like, he's like fourth or fifth best among the list. Played great defense. Really turned it up towards the end of the year, trying to give the team a chance. Obviously, he let the team down in the first half, and I understand that. Some big blunders, getting picked off at first during the Cubs game.
Bro, it's Christmas. Come on.
You're the one who put him on the naughty list, bro. Obviously, against the Yankees, pretty rough one, but I think he did enough to get off the naughty list in the month of September and put himself on the nice list. Now, I will say, if they were inverted, he was popping off at the beginning of the year and then struggled down the stretch, he might have been on the naughty list. Recency bias, what have you done for me lately, definitely probably impacts my niceness there, I will say.
Yeah, I think that there's two different ways to look at it. You look at like his final numbers. They're not terrible.
Mm-mm.
But you think about him this year, he was one of the least clutch players when it mattered, it felt like. And he I don't know, he just let the team down so many times when he has these higher expectations and he didn't live up to them. He wants to be the superstar, he wants to be in the spotlight, and unfortunately, now that he's in it, he kind of flounders a little bit. And that's what happened at the start of the year. He was terrible up until basically September, like you said. Like there were moments where like, oh, Julio will get out of it. He's Julio, and he never did. Just like Garver, just like Polanco, that we were like, oh, they'll get out of it. He never did. Julio thankfully found his stroke in September, like you said, and maybe like toward the middle, late August. But yeah, I think that overall, the Mariners make the playoffs if he just doesn't make some of the mistakes that he made in 2024. If he doesn't get picked off in that Cubs game, what happened, we'll never know, right? We're playing just a game of what ifs, but if we wouldn't have to be playing that game if he just didn't get picked off, if he was just paying attention.
Yeah.
Like if he wouldn't have ran away from a flying bat. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree. I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Truthfully, I think both sides can be explained very well, and whether or not whatever side you find yourself standing on, I don't think it's a wrong opinion. I just think I definitely am valuing the end of the season. What have you done for me lately? As like how it swayed me.
So let us know in the comments down below what you guys think of which list Julio is on. Moving on, the bullpen naughty list.
Yeah, the majority of it, just naughty. One, like maybe two guys could be on the nice list, Munoz and Snyder.
Maybe Troy Taylor.
Yeah,
but like
everyone else is like pretty naughty.
Overall, naughty list for them. I mean, it's just, they let you down big time. But when you look at the starting pitching, they're all on the nice list, no doubt. Like, I mean, I think the one who's closest to being on the naughty list is Luis Castillo, and he's not even close.
Yeah, it's
like
as much of a resounding nice list that you can get from like just looking at what the players did in 2024.
What about Dan Wilson? Nice list?
Nice list. Yeah.
He's Scott Service.
I mean, he got fired for a reason. So he lost a 10-game lead. That's the naughty list. I think. I mean, you look at Dan Wilson. Isn't he still like the winningest manager in
technically
in Mariners history? So
yeah,
by win percentage,
it's true. Yeah.
I think Dan, he's on the nice list.
Okay. That's good enough for me. I don't want to go through all the coaches. I don't care.
Yeah.
Overall, the Seattle Mariners
naughty
list.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole team.
You didn't make the playoffs. I think that's the barometer of getting on the nice list, like the barrier to entry. And you could argue it should be higher than that. And maybe it will be someday. But our expectations are low.
but you still missed. So
Yeah.
wow, you still let us down, even with our low expectations.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
Joe.
I don't know if we had low expectations. We projected them to win the division, but
That's a good point.
you
Yeah,
know
I
what I mean?
projected them to win like 98 games or something like that.
Which would be a really big present going into 2025 if they could win the division, huh?
Wouldn't it though? I love presents. I'm
Pre-
Santa. I bring them.
Yeah, you do. And your big sack.
I'm not gonna grab it.
Yeah, I don't
What do
I
you
don't
want me to bring under your tree? Put under your tree this year, Joe?
I would love something that I would love under the tree that I could open up and just have ready for 2025. Honest to God, I would love if Ryan Bliss figured it out. If he could be a competent major league batter, major league position player, I think that would be genuinely huge for the team in 2025. Because if they end up rolling with him at a position and he flounders, it's accelerating the clock and not allowing as much development for any of your other like minor league prospects that have to come up and maybe fill in his spot. Sure, if Ryan Bliss performs, is that going to stop Cole Young from being a, everyday player for the Seattle Mariners? I don't necessarily think so. I think there's room in the infield to make it work. But if Bliss actually does what like he's able to translate from the minor leagues to the major leagues, I think that would be massive. And I know it's not the biggest like you could ask for a Julio MVP, right? I don't think I'm starting necessarily at the top of my list. But I think with the state of how the conversations are going around the team right now, like, oh, should we just roll with Rayleigh and Locklear at first base? If they get a third baseman, are they just going to do Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss at second base? They haven't done anything right now. They're just rolling with Ryan Bliss at second and Dylan Moore at third. If they would have signed Santana, it's just Ryan. Like, if they can get quality major league production, a 2 to 2.5 win season out of Ryan Bliss, I'm stoked.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, he is obviously the hard part would be is he going to get enough playing time at the start of the year? I think
Sure.
that's the biggest like tell all is maybe he tears the cover off the ball in spring training. And obviously, the Mariners still have moves to make. Maybe they don't even have Ryan Bliss. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that I was thinking along a similar line. I was going to say Tyler Locklear being a guy who just becomes the first baseman of the future. But I don't want to do that anymore because it's too similar to what you said. So instead, what I want in 2025 from myself, Santa Claus, is another season where the pitching staff is healthy. Like we don't have to have any long time periods where we're without one, if not two, of our starting pitchers. Like losing Brian Wu was tough at the beginning of the year. You probably lost games because of it.
Yeah.
Because Brian Wu got hurt, you probably lost a couple of games. And in the end, when you miss the playoffs by a game, that's pretty massive. And because of that, I think that this team only goes as far as this pitching staff can take them right now because the offense is so bad. If the pitching staff can stay healthy, I feel pretty good about their ability to make it at least a competitive season. If the pitching staff gets hurt, if you lose Logan Gilbert for an extended amount of time or George Kirby, and maybe Brian Wu kind of falls down a little bit. He in his not sophomore season, his junior season, I guess. Maybe he gets hit a little bit. Okay, you're screwed. Plain and simple, you're screwed. You do not have the facilities, big man, to be able to take care of those positions in your starting rotation. Logan Evans, Brandon Garcia, sure, if they come up and surprise us, great. That's awesome. I don't foresee that happening in a meaningful way where they are fine replacements for an injured Logan Gilbert. You're not going to find a replacement that's going to be as good as Logan Gilbert. So this team is built on pitching. I think it is the biggest part, like the biggest factor in them making it to the playoffs as a whole. And I think that if they want to be competitive in 2025, the pitching staff needs to stay healthy.
I'm going to double down on the pitching staff. Give me any of the 4 or 5 with a top 3 Cy Young finish. Gilbert got close. Castillo got close the year before. Same thing with Kirby. I don't care which one. If I had to pick, man, I want to see Kirby turn into that like 2.2 ERA guy that we know that he can be with how dominant he can be in the zone. He just needs to find a put out pitch, but I'm not going to project that upon him. I just want one of them to finish in the top 3.
Yeah.
I think that would be sick towards the end of the year. Even if we know it's like a unanimous going to like Scooble again or something, just having someone in that final 3 would just be massive for the team.
Massive. Yeah. I think another thing that would be a really big help for them is if we get that 1-2 punch, maybe a 1-2-3 punch to the back end of the bullpen with Matt Brash coming back. Gregory Santos, Matt Brash, Andres Munoz. Like the 3 of them at the back end of the bullpen, if all 3 of them can have, decent years, like again, like you said, we all know they can, that'd be massive. And I think that paired with your starting pitching is going to be huge for this team because we know they can't score runs, but they can sure as hell prevent runs.
Yeah.
And if you have all 3 of those guys going good, obviously we didn't get a whole lot of Gregory Santos. We didn't get to see Matt Brash really at all. Andres Munoz had his own health issues in 2024. And again, it all comes back to health, like I was saying, but if they can all 3 of those guys have big years, that shortens games where all of a sudden, if you go into like the 7th inning with a lead, you feel really, really damn good about your ability to win that ball game.
Yeah, those 3 pitching to the ability that we know that they can, they're immediately on the nice list for 2025. It's like almost a guarantee at that point.
Massive.
Low taper fee.
All the old people are mad at us.
our entire like 60% of our audience. No idea what that is.
Well, this episode got a little unhinged, but that's going to do it from us here on episode 151 of the Hit It Here podcast. Merry Christmas to everybody. This was the Santa Claus episode of the podcast, and go Mariners.
Merry Christmas, y'all. I didn't say it yet, so I wanted to make sure I said it.